We're recording.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Executive Cabinet Member Leaders Portfolio, held in the presence of sportspersons from other groups at the Council. The first item on the agenda today is the Council Chamber live streaming software and audio-visual equipment refresh. And I believe Mr. Kenyon is taking us through that report.
Right, good morning. Thank you, Leader. This is the replacement of the live streaming equipment in the council chamber. It's for anyone who's used the council chamber and watched the streams remotely or watched back afterwards, you'll be aware that we stream using the public eye service. We have 4 cameras in the council chamber, 2 of which are currently inoperable. The first one was already failed when we drafted this report, and since then the second one's actually gone faulty as well. We now have blind spots in the council chamber when certain people are speaking. Unfortunately, we're not able to bring them into the live stream. It's a symptom of the age of the system. It's been in there for some time and it requires a refresh. So this report today seeks approval to implement that refresh. The technology team, supported by colleagues from our Democratic Services team, have engaged with multiple suppliers who do this type of work. We've had them in to survey the council chamber and then put their proposals forward for how they would address it. And ultimately, we've settled on three options: a preferred supplier plus 2 reserves. We have a preference, and we have indicated the price for completing this project in the attached paper. The proposed price is £115,000 to execute this piece of work. We'd be using capital receipts to fund this project as capital works. The proposal includes 3 main elements. It's the labour for a contractor to come in and do the work. It's the new components themselves, which is new cameras, a new management set of equipment that sits inside the chamber, and new microphones around the chamber. It also includes training for the operators who will operate the equipment whenever there's a meeting in the chamber. The work itself is planned to be executed after the full council meeting in February, where the budget's set, in between that period and the elections period in May. And so during that period, we'd have a carefully planned programme of work, because of course the council chamber will still be in use at times during that for other committees and meetings and so forth. The work will be executed in a sensitive way where we will dual run the installation of the new system alongside the old system, and then there will be a moment where we'll essentially cut over. There is considerations taken for the listed nature of the building, and so the installation has been carefully planned to respect the covenants imposed upon us. The paper, as written, proposes 2 options, which is basically to do nothing. We would carry on struggling with the current system, and we believe it doesn't present Bolton the best light for anyone who's trying to watch the meetings by live stream. And option 2 is the preferred and the recommended option for this meeting today, which is to deliver the replacement programme at a cost of £115,000 capital. So it's a fairly straightforward paper, but I'm happy to answer any questions that yourself might have, Leader, or councillors.
Just a quick question for me, Richard. Does this include the internal speaker system? I happen to be sitting at the back watching a planning committee the other day. So I was physically in the chamber, but in the public gallery bit, and the sound quality is really quite bad. So are we looking at, there are fixed speakers in that area, but I'm not actually sure if there's any volume coming from those speakers or they're actually coming from the microphone headsets themselves, hence the poor quality.
So my understanding where the components that are being replaced are the cameras, the microphones, and the system that pushes it out to the internet. I don't believe that the actual screens on the wall or the broadcast speakers inside the room are included, but I will confirm that and can confirm by reply, but I do not believe it includes that.
It's just worth checking up, because obviously sometimes we get a number of people in the public gallery or in in planning especially, we get a number of interested people coming, and if they can't really hear, you can hear it quite perfectly on the webcast, by the way. But I'm just talking about people who are physically in the building. So can we just have a look at that? It may just be a simple disconnect of wiring. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll certainly take that way and investigate it further.
Thanks. Any comments, questions, members? All right. Sorry, yes.
It won't let me raise my hand, so I'll just chip in. Thank you, the leader. Just a quick question. The report's a bit vague in terms of like who we're awarding this contract to. So I was just wondering, are you able to tell us a bit more about, you mentioned you're supposed to like other local authorities. Have you spoken to any that have used this provider before, and are they quite happy with the service, or have they had any issues at all with them previously?
So we have sought references and case studies for as part of the procurement process. So that, yes, that should be covered off.
Cool, that's fine. And no security concerns either with the technology and the provider?
So we will continue to, obviously the installation engineers, their presence in the council chambers will be supervised by ourselves and by Democratic Services colleagues during the installation. And then in terms of the ongoing security of the system itself, it is, we're going to continue using the public eye broadcasting system that we currently use for the actual website. So this will replace the hardware in the chamber. And so the current configuration and protections that are in place remain in place.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks very much. Clearly, option one is is a non-starter. The system's not fit for purpose, and it will only get worse. So I'm happy to approve the recommendations of the various delegations. Thanks very much, Richard.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is the Treasury loan to Horwich Town Council. Graham?
Thank you, Leader. Can I just check that everybody can hear me okay? I've had some technical issues and I've swapped to a different laptop temporarily, but that in itself has created some technical issues. So I'll just run through quickly this report. So as councillors will be aware, the Bolton Council has a treasury management activity that manages the funds that the council holds but does not yet need to spend at that point in time. So there's always a timing difference between the time when money comes into the council and the time when the money needs to be spent. So we have a treasury management function that invests that money to generate a return for the council, and we have around about £180 million invested currently. As part of that activity, we often lend to other local authorities throughout England, and earlier this year we were contacted by Horwich Town Council to ask whether or not Bolton Council would be prepared to enter into a treasury type loan to Horwich Town Council. Now, ordinarily we would say that this is just a treasury activity, but what we wanted to do is for transparency purposes, just to make sure that everybody's aware what was going on. So we have produced this report that sets out the request from Horwich Town Council to borrow some money from Bolton Council, a sum of £325,000 for a total period of 2 years. The actual arrangements of the loan and the repayment schedule is set out in 3.14. At this point in time, I'm going to stop talking and ask if there are any questions.
Thanks. So just to confirm, we in normal circumstances, this is a simple treasury management function of which we do all the time. But because this is an unusual situation, so it's a town council seeking to borrow money from the borough council, I thought in the interest of transparency and also give members opportunity to ask questions, it would be better coming here. I preempted the fact that Councillor Grant would probably want to speak on this, so over to you, David.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Graham. It's good to hear your voice on an acceptable laptop. It's great to hear. First of all, I think it's important to thank the Borough Council for their intervention in this, in assisting Horwich Town Council. For some of you might not know, we were partway through an application through the Government's Community Ownership Fund, and then without warning, at the change of government, they pulled it. It's quite disappointing, seeing as the funding was undersubscribed. You would have thought they'd have allowed those applications that were running through the system to have concluded, but they didn't. That caused us a little bit of an issue with the town council. It was either, do we borrow at a commercial rate forever and ever and sort of levy the local community, or do we take a bigger hit and pay it off in 2 years? We did a consultation. A letter went out to every household in Horwich, and we had a committee which put together public consultation. We had 3 public consultations as well in person. The response was quite remarkable for a consultation. We had just shy of 1,500 responses, which is higher than what we get for the budget usually at Bolton Borough Council, and nearly 90% were in favour of increasing the precept to protect this land. Now, it's important to note that this isn't about protecting the cricket club, as important as the cricket club is. It's been there since the 1800s. It is about protecting the land of which the cricket club is on. The town council will gain an income from the cricket club through leasing it back to them. And it's about protecting the land effectively in the heart of Horwich, which we've lost quite a lot of. It did appear, and I'll pause on here, this land did appear in an Invest in Bolton website for possible development opportunities, which is what brought it to the town council's attention, and how we try to protect it. So again, I'm really pleased this is on the leaders portfolio finally. It's been a long time coming. It's been since 2022, I think we've been working on this. But again, I just want to thank the council for considering this. And again, it just shows the council's working together, as was put forward by the peer review, that the councils should work better together. This is a good example of it. And I think it's all good. So I hope that's improved. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, David. Councillor Williamson.
Hello. I'm just wondering if Councillor Grant can give us a little bit of clarity about how it's going to be owned. I'm only asking because I've got residents asking the same question. And there seems to be 2 conflicting informations. I've asked a local councillor as well. How will it actually be owned? Because the presentation said it was going into a fields of trust, and that it would be owned by the residents, and that there would be committee members on that. And then Councillor Chadwick has posted that it will actually be owned by Horwich Town Council, and Horwich Town Council will receive a revenue for the rents to help pay back the loan. So just wondering if those 2 things could be clarified if possible, just so that I can answer the questions for residents.
Yeah, you, David. Yeah.
Over to me. Yeah. So the intent. Well, Horwich is already a member of Fields in Trust, so it will automatically be registered as on the assets of Fields in Trust. The intent is, once, of course, the sale has progressed, we've still got to go through conveyancing, etc. Once the sale's progressed, we will then form a charitable trust, of which there will be the town council as principal landowner. It does belong to the town council. Ultimately, the town council will be paying for it, and it will be maintained through the lease that we will give to the cricket club. It will then form a charitable trust of which Horwich Town Council and its councillors will be a part of, and then the possibility, I mean, that the whole process hasn't been ironed out. It wasn't until today whether we knew we'd get the money to be able to purchase it or not. But ultimately, it'll be a charitable trust, and it will be reserved for the people of Horwich for recreational purposes in perpetuity, is what it will be there for. So it will be, I mean, the town council is the people of Horwich. Effectively, you elect your local representatives, so it will be for the people of Horwich. But if Horwich Town Council should, heaven forbid it never happens, cease to exist, it can happen, it will be in a charitable trust that were broken down into committee members from that point. No different to what sort of Ridgemont Park is, Leverhulme Park, etc. is now. That's changed hands and is under the stewardship of Bolton Council. So I imagine if at some point Horwich Town Council ceased to exist, it would likely go into the Borough Council's ownership. But I'm not envisaging that happening at all.
Okay, most unusual situation here. Sam, you've got a follow-up question for Councillor Grant.
Yeah, sorry. And then the follow-up question, David, is if it's going to be owned by Horwich Town Council and the precept's gone up for it, are Horwich Town Council, once the lease money starts coming in, will the precept go down to offset what residents have paid already? And the committee, the people that are going to be on the committee, will that be offered out to local residents? Because there seems to be some confusion as to what Councillor Grant has posted and shared on LinkedIn versus what was on the initial proposal. So I'm just asking the questions.
So the lease money, so the increase in precept will only be for 2 years, then it comes straight back down to normal levels. The monies from the lease will go into the maintenance and upkeep of the site for anything, because it is our land effectively, whilst operationally it'll be on day-to-day and operationally it'll be run by the cricket club subject to their lease. There will be times where we will also have to invest into the fields as well. So over time, so in 2 years' time, as Graham's mentioned, in 2 years' time, the precept will come straight back down, as was on the original consultation. The format on how the trust will be formed and managed will be part of the, we've now got a committee at Horwich Town Council to oversee the implementation of effectively phase 2 once we've purchased the land, which will then be dealing with the lease for the cricket club, who don't have one at the minute, and then dealing with the setup of the trust.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. So unless there's any further comments, happy to approve the recommendations as set out in the report. That concludes the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.